When you hear cancer, you hear awful things.
According to the National Cancer Institute, 1 in 8 women who live to be age 80 will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. In 2001, Kay Curl of LaRue County was one of those.
The lump was found through a routine mammogram. I always got mammograms yearly because breast cancer was in my family.
According to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, having a family history of breast cancer, particularly a woman with a mother, sister, or daughter who has had or had breast cancer, may double the risk, but this isn't the only factor.
Obesity is a risk factor of breast cancer. Of course, a family history. Just being a woman and being older is a risk factor. Also, not having any babies or either getting pregnant at a later age is a risk factor. Oral contraceptives can be a risk factor. Smoking.
Kathy Russ of LaRue County had no family history of the disease when she discovered she had cancer.
I rolled over in bed and I felt a slight lump, and then I thought for a few days that it would go away, and it didn't.
According to Melissa Decker, team lead clinic nurse at the Hardin County Health Center, women should be aware of the signs and symptoms.
Signs, symptoms of breast cancer can be any changes in the breast, any changes in the skin, any irritation or dimpling in the skin, any new lumps under the armpit or breast area, also any abnormal discharge from the nipple, or any pain at all, or just, any changes in general, just in the size or shape of it.
Breast cancer survivors will tell you that the most difficult part of having the disease occurs following the diagnosis.
My treatment involved a year of chemotherapy, which sometimes they allow you to work through when you do chemo, but I wasn't allowed to work, so I'm a workaholic, so that was really a challenge for me, not being able to work.
The hardest part of the fight was, of course, the chemo was the treatment on a Friday, start to feel better by Tuesday. Then 3 more weeks, go through the same routine. That lasted from February until November. And then in November, I had to have radiation. Yes, I did cry, and yes, I did not want to go through it again. Every day I would go to the hospital at 5 o'clock to have the radiation treatments.
The impact of a cancer diagnosis goes beyond the victim. Family members forced to watch the fight can feel helpless in light of the disease. Elizabethtown resident Melissa Trout says her sister-in-law Amber Pike was diagnosed with the disease in 2009.
First I was like, well, it's breast cancer, and she's detected it early, and in my mind I'm going, this seems pretty simple. You almost don't think that it's real when you first hear it. Watching her struggle with the symptoms of the chemo mainly, and even the surgery was difficult for me. She and I are the same age.
Rineyville resident Dale Reeves found her life entirely changed after her sister, who was living in Kentucky, was diagnosed with the disease.
My sister was 3 years older than I was, and she was my mother's caregiver, and she lived with my mother, so I had to move down here from Virginia and help take care of my mother and my sister Jenny at the same time, of taking her to the doctor and seeing about my mother at the same time. From 2011 to 2017, my sister struggled with the breast cancer, and then just in the latter part of 2016, the cancer metastasized and went to different parts of her body. It went into her bones and into her lung area, into finally into her liver, and she died from the cancer on August the 8th, 2017.
Although there is no known way to prevent breast cancer, there are known ways to help protect oneself.
Just trying to live a healthy lifestyle helps to prevent breast cancer. Also, breastfeed your babies. If you have a baby, that helps prevent breast cancer. Try to maintain a healthy weight, a healthy diet, and just try to take good care of yourself. Exercise at least 4 hours a week.
The increase in survival rates are directly tied to early diagnosis. Self-examinations, yearly checkups, and mammograms are the best methods to improve survival. Medical professionals recommend that self-checks are done on a monthly basis.
Just use the tips of your fingers, like the pads of your fingers, feel for any lumps, changes in the breast. But yeah, and then make sure and see a health care provider yearly starting at age 20 for self-breast exams. It is very important, and that's something that I do is I educate the patients on making sure to be compliant with their visits yearly, because you want to catch breast cancer or any changes before it turns into breast cancer. So it's very important to do that, and mammograms can help as the number one thing to help try to prevent breast cancer in self-exams.
The average 5-year survival rate for people with breast cancer is 90%. The average 10-year survival rate is 83%.
I am in remission. I have been cancer-free since February of 2003. I learned after my last chemo treatment and all the testing, and when my doctor came in to give me the results and he said, "You are cancer-free," I was ecstatic.
I'm considered cancer-free. Like I said, I still visit my oncologist about once every 4 months. They run blood tests. It always makes me a little nervous when I go, but I feel great.
She got through all of her treatments and is now cancer-free. She's doing fine. Like you would never know that she ever even had cancer.
I worry about nothing. I made it through this. I worry about nothing. It's been a calming. I'm at peace with everything. Nothing upsets me. I just go through life and try to help others.
Well, I appreciate life a little bit more, for one thing, for sure, and I do realize that life is a gift. I do work harder with American Cancer Society. I help sponsor the survivor dinner that we have every year in LaRue County. My biggest advice is to get your mammogram when you're supposed to. And if you're not satisfied, get an ultrasound. Stay on top of it.
Please do your exams. Don't be afraid. I know several people that I just don't want to know. They'll say, "I just don't want to know." No. Go and get examined. Get your mammograms. Keep up with yourself.